Akash Kumar, Gs1 68 bpsc, total score 173. Question number 1a. Government of India Act 1858. After the revolt of 1857, British learned from mistakes and passed Government of India Act 1858 to reform its government system in India. Features of the Act: transfer of sovereign power directly to the Crown, the rule of East India Company abolished, and the British Crown became direct ruler. Office of Secretary of State. Secretary of State of India was a member of British Cabinet. Princely state where asserted territorial integrity and policy of annexation was abandoned. This act provided for reorganization of British Army. The Governor-General of India was now called Viceroy. Thus, Government of India Act 1858 came with reform and called Act of Better Governance. It consolidated British rule over India. 1b. Birsa Munda Movement. Birsa Munda Movement, also known as Ulgulan or Great Tumult, was violent tribal movement of Munda tribe in Chota Nagpur region. It was led by Birsa Munda in 1899 and 1900. Region of region affected: Dumka, Koti, and Ranchi area. Causes: Khudkatti system was replaced with permanent settlement. Interference of Christian missionaries. Exploitation by zamindars and moneylenders. Forest rights restricted. Course of movement in three phases. Phase 1 1819-1894. Focus on internal purification. Phase 2 establishment of Muntaraj and to uproot British. Phase 3 most violent phase. Soon Birsa arrested and sent to Ranchi jail. He died of cholera. Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act 1908 passed. Janjatiya Gaurav Divas is celebrated on his birth date 15 November. 1C Indigo Revolt. Indigo Revolt was essentially a violent peasant uprising in Bengal region. It was led by Digambar Biswas in 1859. Indigo Revolt causes: forcefully growing of indigo, high rent demanded, low price for indigo produce. Course of revolt: Digambar Biswas and Vishnu Biswas organized villagers and started protecting their land. They formed group and fought with guerrilla technique. British response: British used force and soon movement was fully quashed. Impact: exploitation stopped. Increased conscious. Indigo plantation stopped in Bengal. Thus Indigo revolt was among initial peasant uprising who stranded peasant cause before British. 1d. Patna Kalam. After decline of Mughal painting under Aurangzeb, painters migrated to Murshidabad and then to Patna. In Patna, a distinct painting style developed known as Patna Kalam. Famous painters: Shiv Layal, Muslim Wedding; Gopal Lal, Holi; Mahadev Lal, Rani. Chief characteristics: simplistic and lucid, not more ornamented. Fusion of Mughal and British painting. Use of Kajri Siahi technique. Subject of painting included cost occupation known as example carpenter, ironsmith, etc. Colors extracted from indigenous plants. Human figures had heavy eyebrow mustache. Patna painting soon declined due to lack of patronage and demand. However, several paintings are present in Patna Museum. 1e. Development of cave in eastern India. In ancient time, caves were built for residing purposes of Buddhist, Jain, and Ajivika monks. Mainly, they were rock-cut famous caves in eastern India: Barabar Cave in Jahanabad by Asoka; Nagarjun Cave in Jahanabad by Dasarath; Kailgaon rock-cut cave temple, Bhagalpur. Features: decorated gateway, internal wall highly polished, rectangular in shape. Thus, during Mauryan and Palya rulers, cave architecture developed in eastern India. Long question 2b. Discuss the growth of colonial technical education in Bihar under various schemes of British rule. critically analyzes impacts. Bihar has a glorious history in the field of education in ancient time. University of Nalanda and Vikramshila were world famous. However, in medieval period, education sector felt setback and later revived by British. Earlier education of Bihar were related to religion and literature. Only British introduced modern technical education during colonial period. Various scheme of British for development of education. Phase 1 Charter Act 1813 British government provided sum of 1 lakh for development of education. Macaulay Minute 1835 English as medium downward filtration theory. Phase 2 Wood Dispatch 1854 repudiated downward filtration theory and focused on mass education. Hunter Commission 1872 focused on technical education. Phase 3 Raleigh Commission 1901 asked for reform in university education. Sadler Commission 1917 mainly higher education along with focus on technical education. Phase 4 Hartak Committee 1929 focus on vocational education. Sargent Plan 1944 aimed to make Indian education system equivalent to British in 40 years. Thus, through various commission, British gradually introduced technical education. Growth of technical education: TNV College Bhagalpur, BN College Patna, LS College Muzaffarpur, Survey Training School Patna later became Bihar Engineering College, USA Agricultural University, Indian School of Dhanbad, Indian School of Mines, United Bihar, Veterinary College, Chemistry and Physics Department at Patna College. From the above, British introduced technical education, but it has significant drawbacks. Critical analysis: very few in number, technical education centers were very few in number, and thus large parts of students remained out of it. Reserved for Europeans, no focus on research and development, low investment, only elite was captured, women covered, women were out of largely out of it. In conclusion, though British were pioneer of technical education in Bihar, it was motivated by their self-interest of getting cheap engineers. Today, Bihar is a backward state and technical education in need of the hour. Short question. Third B. Describe Rabindranath Tagore's ideas of society and culture. Sorry, long question. Rabindranath Tagore, also known as Gurudev and Vishwakavi, was a famous Bengali writer, national leader, and proponent of international motherhood. He was born in Kolkata, Bengal. Tagore's idea on society. Tagore was a great thinker. He wrote various books, plays, dramas, and reflected his view on society. Humanism. Tagore was humanist par excellence. He said that human is a distinct creature who is able to change natural phenomena while all other species are vast tools in the hands of nature. Humans are not. He propagated a spirit of love, tolerance, and profound respect of human dignity. He said that people should strive for excellence to realize the freedom, international brotherhood. Tagore thought of global family and famously said, "Whole world is a single nest." Spirit of cooperation and coexistence should permeate among all global societies. Example, in his Vishwabharati University, Tagore taught with free mind to develop universal thought among students. Education. According to Tagore, education should not provide only information but it should make students' life in harmony with all existence. He talked about value education among society. For modernization of education, Tagore said, "Don't limit your child or to your own learning, for he was born in another time." Example, opened Santiniketan in 1901. Rural development. Tagore opened Santiniketan to add village with schools. Women wrote about emancipation of women. Patriotism. He said, "Patriotism cannot be my spiritual shelter. My refuge is humanity." Tagore's view on culture. Tagore was in favor of interculturalism, that is, fusion of different parts of world should mix together culture. Sorry. However, he despised Western culture of nationalism. In Gitanjali, he wrote that God into that haven of freedom let my country awake. Criticism. Mahatma Gandhi said the poet lives in a magnificent world created by his own imagination. Some critics label Tagore as a rich poet whose thought on society is against poor. In summary, Tagore's thought on society and culture was way ahead of time today when world is facing global problems like protectionism, wars and climate change. Once again Tagore's thought has become relevant. Question 4a. Where was the 18th National Scout and Guide Jamboree organized? Describe its objective. National Scouts and Guides Jamboree was organized in New Delhi. Its mandate is to provide volunteers for social service, youth empowerment should be increased, tourist place should be provided with guides to increase tourism, focus on social service, objectives to provide nationalism among youth, provide tourist guide, helping during disaster management. Thus, National Scout and Jamboree provided for building human mm, in field of disaster human uh, force in field of disaster management tourism. We explain the mandate of United Nations Public Administration Network in managing the peace and strong institution under Sustainable Development Goal 16. SDG 6 mandates to build strong institutions to build peace and justice. United Nations Public Administration Network is an organization built to collaborate and cooperate with institutions of the world. Mandate of UNPAN capacity building of various government organizations for to accelerate program of SDG collaboration with public institutions, information sharing, technical assistance to developing countries, encouraging best practices. Thus, UNPAN aims to collaborate with organizations for SDG 16. Describe the right-based e-service delivery scenario of Bihar. Bihar government has recently won Digital Award in 2020. E-services are services delivered through use of information communication technology. Benefit of e-service: better and easier service delivery, transparent and accountable, no corruption. Right-based e-service delivery. Right to Public Service Act 2011 made provision that documents such as caste certificate, birth certificate, etc. will be provided with certain period of time. Also provide for grievance redressal. Delivery of Public Service Act 2016. This act provides that all citizens of Bihar are eligible to get mandatory online services, e-services delivery. Famous e-services of Bihar: Bus 1 2.0, Sanjeevani App Health, Bihan App Agriculture. Describe the effort made in the field of solar power generation in the state of Bihar. Solar power is a source of renewable energy. The sun light is converted into electrical energy by using solar panel. Government of Bihar is taking significant steps to provide sustainable, clean and affordable energy in Bihar. Solar power generation is a crucial part. Major effort: solar power project in Darbhanga, floating solar power plant. Floating solar power plant in Aurangabad. Solar power project in Jamui, Nevada and Kaimur. Rooftop solar on government buildings. Farmer under PM Kusum scheme can get subsidized rate solar panel for their field. Thus, as SDG 7 mandates government to provide affordable and clean energy, effort of Bihar government in solar power generation is very significant. However, more investment should be done. Critically examine the feature of self-reliance. Bihar Saath Nischay 2 program of good governments. Bihar government introduced 7 Saath Nischay 2 in 2020 as part of good governments. Earlier Saath Nischay 1 was released in 2015. सात निश्चय: युवा शक्ति बिहार की प्रगति, सशक्त महिला, सक्षम महिला, हर खेत को पानी, स्वच्छ गांव, समृद्ध गांव, स्वच्छ शहर, विकसित शहर, सुलभ संपर्कता, सबके लिए अतिरिक्त स्वास्थ्य सुविधा. Benefit positives: covered wide range of subjects from youth to women, focus on agriculture through irrigation, balanced developed, equal focus on rural and urban Bihar, health benefit. Negatives: Sat Nischay could not achieve its intended goals, lack of time frame, resource constraints, subjects such as education, employment are absent. 5b. In the wake of the criticism by the Vice President of India recently, critically examined the doctrine of basic structure given by the Supreme Court of India half a century ago. Do you think this debate will provide proved to be a point of clash between executive and judiciary in near future give arguments. The doctrine of basic structure was given by Supreme Court in famous Gs1 Bharti case 1973. It includes all core ideals of the Constitution, which is very essential for functioning of democracy and hence can be altered. Recently, Vice President of India criticized the basic structure doctrine by saying that judiciary should restrict itself to judicial matter and let legislative matters be declared by decided by legislature. Basic structure doctrine, critical examination, argument in favor, check and balance. Though this doctrine, Supreme Court checks power of executive and legislature. Protecting fundamental right. Article 13 of Indian Constitution says that law inconsistent with the Part 3 fundamental rights should be null and void. Hence, basic structure doctrine protects it. Checks against executive tyranny in case of majority government. Preserve the idea of founding forefathers. Trust on constitution. Constitutional supremacy. India constitution is supreme. Manka Gandhi case 1978. There is no parliamentary sovereignty. Argument against not provided by constitution. Basic structure doctrine is purely judicial invention. Bhimrao Ambedkar said constitution in India is a legal document and hence frequent amendment is necessary to make it in time with changing time. Judiciary has become third chamber of parliament. An amendment, act or law need to be assented by judiciary. Judiciary is not popular organization as compared to executive and legislature, as the latter are democratically elected by people. Famous basic structure features separation of power, rule of law, judicial review, fundamental right, parliamentary form of government, and so on. Point of clash between the executive and judiciary. In 2015, Supreme Court struck down National Judicial Appointment Commission, amended Act 2014, which sought to replace collegium system with NJAC. Supreme Court said that it infringes upon the independence of judiciary, which is a basic structure. Yes, point of class. Executive uh, sells judiciary to uh, exercise judicial restraint and not intervene with laws, rules, and regulation, and thus a tussle has been created. It has led to somewhat degrading uh, honor of judiciary as it guarantor of fundamental right. No, not at point of class. Debate should be encouraged between various organs of government as it is necessary for healthy functioning of democracy. Likewise, it benefits citizens. However, this debate should not be turned into deadlock between two organs. This will lead to policy paralysis. In conclusion, both organs of government, executive and judiciary, should cooperate and mutually assist to assure to avoid class. At the same time, Gandhiji's talisman should be respected, which said action of government should serve poorest and the poor. 6a. Do you think India must reclaim its leadership of the developing world through its ambition to steer the G20 summit in Delhi to success later this year, despite India's own enduring developmental challenges? Do you think India faces the real difficulty on uniting the global south in pursuit of common goals? Write your answer with convincing arguments. G20 is an informal grouping of 19 countries and European Union. It was formed in 1919 after the Asian financial crisis as a forum of finance ministers and central governors to discuss economic and financial issues. India assumed G20 presidency on December 1, 2022. Opportunities of India as a G20 president: increasing trade, solving Russia-Ukraine war, uniting global south, reforms in multilateral and financial organization, cooperation in discussion and critical technology, accelerating climate action. India's G20 presidency and Global South. India formed the part of Global South. Globe focused. Global South is demarcated by an imaginary line on globe who lies in southern part and characterized by low socio-economic development, reclaiming leadership of Global South, raising voice for fair economic order, Global South's common concern is about reforms in IMF and World Bank. India can raise these issues in G20. Climate change, common but differentiated responsibility. Global South has low mm, emission as compared to Global North, cooperating in increasing trade. India can demand from G20 that tariff and non-tariff barriers mm, removed from developed countries. Example, recently EU imposed carbon border tax on goods from Global South. Technology transfer to help Global South in fourth industry evolution, infrastructure building, build back better world. P3W of G7 G20 can start its own tackling inflation and balance of payment crisis. Global South is facing this problem. India through raising voice for this can reclaim leadership. Difficulty in uniting Global South challenges for India. Political instability. Various countries are involved in civil war, coup, etc. Authoritarianism, civil war in Sudan, military coup in Myanmar, fraud, bilateral relation, example between India and Pakistan, between Ethiopia and Eritrea, India's own inducing development challenges. India is currently home of the largest number of poor, health and technological advancement is low. It poses difficulty in claiming leadership law, dependency on global north. All global south countries are dependent north for finance and technology, and taking them is difficult. Past experiences such as NAM G77 have proved to be failure. Different aspirations, global south countries are divided. Way forward, building trust through mutual cooperation, utilizing Asia Africa growth corridor, resolving bilateral issues, increasing investment and technical transfer. In conclusion, India's G20 provide ample opportunity for India to become leader of global south. India should wo- with spirit of work with the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kundukam and engage proactively with global south. Over. Thank you.